Welcome back, everybody, to another Deconstruction Junction. No, it is not Saturday, our usual slot. Yes, it is Friday. It is the Friday before Christmas. Michael Jackson calls him Christmas. And Tara Praolo is going to be doing her baby's first Christmas. And so she's going to be off the map for close to a business week, but not fully a business week. And so we've come on Friday, December 20th, 2024, to unpack all of the heaviest, maybe not so heavy, but perhaps some of the heaviest things. I see that we're now live over on TikTok, you and I. Congratulations on your professional TikTok debut. Pew, pew, pew.
Pew, pew. You can see my face now.
Yes, she's a real person. She's amazing. I'm Dr. Flo, online coach and mentor. I encourage, equip, and empower people every day to try to get the most out of life. Your life is a piece of fruit. How much juice you gonna get out of your life? All right. My life could be over tomorrow. It could be over 40 years from now. How much joy, how much love, how much peace can I extract from this day, just for today? I hope people get it tapped in, tuned in, turned on to that, and also to manifest their dreams as I have. If you look through my photo album and the receipts of my life, you'll see a guy who manifested every childhood dream. And I want to continue to manifest my dreams and help you do the same in mutually supportive community. One of the most amazing and talented people that I work with every day at the water cooler and at the We Work in the Sky is a multi-passionate and multi-talented Tara Praolo studio who co-hosts Deconstruction Junction with me every week in this network. Who are you?
I'm your resident white-facing biracial multi-passionate musician, and I talk about the issue that nobody wants to talk about and push you to do the same. I'm ready to deconstruct with you all tonight. But we would also love to have you here on the pod.
Tara has had quite the week leading up to the holidays. An access need, as we say in the community, is that she will need to be as she is, given all of the things swirling and all of the demands. And so, yes, if you are wanting to join our dais and wanting to be one of our guest hosts and unpack the things that are important to you, we invite you to the podcast. I mean, we're just here for love and to have a good time and to not be so bored with our existences in life. We're going to jump into Tara's topics this week, but I want to let y'all know over on TikTok that if you want more confidence or if you need a coach or mentor or someone to believe in you, we're here 24/7 in the Discord server. If we're asleep, when we wake up, we'll respond. Multiple clinics, multiple topics, over 20 topics maybe for conversation. And, we're there. We've built it. I believe in community. And that's what we're doing here in Deconstructed tonight. All right, Tara's up.
The threads will be quick. Art survives because the artist doesn't quit. I don't know that I believe that's true, but I know I am who I am today because I knew you. Art survives because the artist doesn't quit. Here's the reason, y'all, that I'm kind of like, I don't know that I believe that's true, is because some artists did quit, like wholly quit, and we just found their shit 50 years later or 100 years later. Is like, nah, girl, they just done died. Like, so It's a nice notion, I guess. Art survives because the artist doesn't quit, but it also puts a lot of pressure on the artist to continue to create. Always. Yeah.
You think there's a pressure to create for artists, or is this something that we just really enjoy?
No, I think it
I
depends
feel
on
like.
the person.
Say that one more time.
I think it depends on the person.
I understand that it depends on. Let me give you my opinion and my riff on this. I think that we have gotten far away from the beginnings of our art. Meaning that, and I wish I had it tonight, but there's a photo of me and my brother and one of our childhood friends at our little. Did you ever have a baby piano, like a toy piano, like the baby has?
My daddy had one, but it was like it was an electronic. It was like.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's what?
No,
I
but
don't want to
like
dox.
I had one that my dad got for me. It was a little baby upright piano.
Oh, baby upright, you're fancy. Now I had a little electronic one that could change sounds and things.
Oh
But
wow.
there's a picture. There's a
You
picture
had
that
fancy.
exists. Say that again.
You had fancy.
I mean, it was just like maybe. I mean, I'm spoiled. So my father, I was into music, so he got me a little baby piano, and I remember playing that. The point of this story is that there's a photo that exists that I can't wait to show you of me and my brother. I was playing the piano. He was playing a little toy horn, and the neighbor was playing like the triangle or drums or something. And we were making art for the stuffed animals on the couch that were about 3 feet in front of us. My first audience was not a Broadway audience or a TikTok audience or anything else. My first audiences were stuffed animals. And I just decided that when people were like, oh, it's kind of good, it's kind of bad, or when people weren't paying attention through the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010, 2020, now we're in. When people decided that they wanted to pay attention or not pay attention, I returned myself back to who I was as a kid. I've always, throughout my entire life, I don't know what that was. Extra consonants. Throughout my entire life, I've always loved broadcasting and loved music. And I think that my art has survived because I just decided that no matter what, no matter who, I was going to make the art. Then came money. Then came the bills. Then came the rent. And then the mortgage. And then the heavy responsibility. And then the kid me that was prancing in the living room and singing into the hairbrush. And pantomiming and playing theater with my friends. That became less fun because adulting is serious. And I think that if you're artists out there paying attention tonight to this program, I want to encourage you to not quit, because it doesn't matter if fine art or performance art survives. You need to survive. And I would actually trade out every where you see the word art tonight in Tara's share, trade that out with the word you. You survive because you don't quit. Your joy survives because you don't quit. And just be committed to that. I see a lot of people trying to make a living from their art, but it's very, very clear that they're not having fun with it. I just came out of a brief spell of that, where for about 4 or 5 days, I just wasn't connected. I see you, Tara. I wasn't connected to my art. And it's important that you return to whatever that childlike version of you before the competition, before the evaluation, before they put you in a line and said you're the 137th best. I'm the 246th best. Before they did that to us, we were okay. And we weren't going to quit talking and speaking and creating and singing because it's who we were. And now capitalism and adulting has separated us from who we truly are. I think that some of us need to really do some mirror work. Shout out to Louise Hay, our great ancestor, our great white lady ancestor. Y'all pretend like I don't like white people. I like some. Select.
A handful.
Select. Because what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing to actually make it so that humans that breathe like you, hurt like you, aspire like you, cry like you, laugh like you, have an equal quality of existence as you do? What does that look like to allow someone who does not look like you, who you know is subjugated, who you know is oppressed? And I'm not talking to Tara right now on the screen because she makes sure with time, talent, and treasure that I at least have a life that's not I don't know what word was coming. I had a Mitch moment, and also like shitty is what I wanted to say. Like frankly, like you and Angie and people who contribute here and produce here, just keep just for today life not being shitty for an artist like me that's producing a revival out of my ass. It's like how I see you, Tara. Like, how can I make the lights a bit better? How can I make the microphone better? How can I encourage him out of the sunken place of broken sound into now being live for Irene and the world on TikTok with you, and also the slideshow that looks amazing with the Running Man logo produced by Poppy Water. The art survives because we have 58 weeks in this, and while it's hard and it's bitter and we fight each other and we fight ourselves, we still remember our childlike heart that wanted to just feel good making the art and to be clapped for a job well done.
Specifically Sesame Street and how it was too woke.
This is your reminder that Sesame Street was not created for white children. That's why it's set in the environment that it's set. That's why the characters are the characters. That's why there was Maria. That's why it's so woke. Because Sesame Street was meant to supplement the educational needs of poor children who lived in inner cities. That's why. And this isn't the first time that the government has tried to destroy PBS or get rid of educational things like this to help poor people keep up with everybody else. Okay? It happened before, and Mr. Rogers ended up going before the Senate. Like, he sat there and he told them exactly what it was that he did and why he did it and why PBS needed more money, not less money. And they were so moved by Mr. Rogers that they did, in fact, give him more money. But Sesame Street, the creation of Sesame Street, was never supposed to be for the audience. It was never supposed to be rich white kids. It turned into that because it became so popular. But Sesame Street was always supposed to be for poor inner city black and brown kids.
Specifically Sesame Street and how it was too woke.
This is your reminder that Sesame Street was not created for white children. That's why it's set in the environment that it's set. That's why the characters are the characters. That's why there was Maria. That's why it's so woke. Because Sesame Street was meant to supplement the educational needs of poor children who lived in inner cities. That's why. And this isn't the first time that the government has tried to destroy PBS or get rid of educational things like this to help poor people keep up with everybody else. Okay? It happened before, and Mr. Rogers ended up going before the Senate. Like, he sat there and he told them exactly what it was that he did and why he did it and why PBS needed more money, not less money. And they were so moved by Mr. Rogers that they did, in fact, give him more money. But Sesame Street, the creation of Sesame Street, was never supposed to be for the audience. It was never supposed to be rich white kids. It turned into that because it became so popular. But Sesame Street was always supposed to be for poor inner city black and brown kids.
I just brought this because I wanted to lift that Sesame Street along with TikTok are on the chopping block. And I think we know why, as this lovely human in a onesie told us.
Wait, Sesame Street's on the chopping block? I know Sesame Street. Sesame Street was recently acquired by HBO Max. What happened to Sesame Street? What
Not
happened to
recently. It's been like 10 years that HBO Max has been funding them, and now they're no longer going to fund them to create new episodes and things. So now Sesame Street does not have a home to create new episodes because PBS was not paying enough for them to do that. And so, of course, then it's not, I mean, not in legislation wise, but in money wise, it is on the chopping block, which is sad. I can't say that I was a avid watcher of Sesame Street, but I do very much like the Cookie Monster and what's the green one? Is his name the Grouch? The guy that lives in the trash can?
Grouch is in the trash can, but it's also Grover, who we adore.
Wait.
Super Grover, but he's blue.
He's blue with a red nose.
Yes, we love Grover. Super Grover, even.
Yes, I do remember Grover. I don't like
Super Grover.
I don't remember a lot of Sesame Street. I remember Barney much better than I remember Sesame Street. But Sesame Street has been around forever, and it's a pity that they have, quote unquote, run out of cash, even though money is fake. And we know why they have conveniently run out of cash for that show.
Well, I'm kind of torn. I didn't know. I didn't. This topic, I didn't see it coming tonight. I'm kind of. I'm kind of neutral because, Sesame Street is so important to me, but I know that in the future of our dreams and where things are going, we're Sesame Street now. Like
Maybe.
you're Sesame Street and I'm Sesame Street. Like, and maybe Sesame Street was supposed to last for multiple decades and multiple generations, or maybe Sesame Street becomes something that was popular in the Roman Empire, and it actually lived its time And now with the advent of TikTok and the internet and Threads and Blue Sky and X Spaces and everything that's happening so fast in the world, you know, you're in your mid 30s, not to dox you on the internet. I'm pushing now into my 40s. I'll be 41 in February and thrilled about it. What if Sesame Street is a historical piece of our lives? And that's probably what the 60 and 70 and 80-year-olds feel in their lives. And I'm not mad about you bringing this here, but it just really signifies a turn of events. If we really care about the black and brown children, then we will produce content for them. And because we're here, we know that we can. But it's sad to know that Maria and Big Bird, the people who started Sesame Street, Jim Henson and the crew at the theater workshop. It's called Children's Theater Workshop, which is what Love and Action Network is doing now. Maybe it's a passing of the baton. I don't want to speak, too prematurely, but Jim Henson has been gone from this planet for a very, very long time.
I just looked it up. He died before I was born.
When did Jim Henson die? May he rest in power.
He died May 16th, 1990.
Before Poppy was born, too. Yeah, I was here. Yeah. And I've cried to documentaries about this powerful man who was storytelling with puppets. But we also have, I've got in my studio, Priolo and Angie boxes that the green screen won't let me be great about. But it won't. But there's boxes that Poppy Water wants to turn into puppet theaters that we could also purchase off of Amazon. That are the new generation of what Jim Henson, who predates y'all, and what Sesame Street represents. So while I am saddened by the unaliving of these capitalists who have not who've apparently milked every dime of what they could out of this product, because if they could milk more money they would, but Bert and Ernie went the way of Poppy Water and Father Water a long time ago, and so how much more can you get out of this? And so now they're divesting from that. And now I see that as an open door for Love and Action Network and the Love and Action Academy to step in and to build the next generation of Brunos up. Does that feel helpful to you?
Yes. Yes. There's the debate. We'll see where it lands, if it lands somewhere. But yeah. HBO pulled their funding.
That's crazy. Given that they have money for dragons flying in the sky.
That part.
CGI, but the education of children. But you know what this is about? An educated child, an encouraged, equipped, and empowered child that knows how to use their time, talent, and treasure as a awesome global citizen is not going to fall in line with a fascist regime.
At all.
And so when you all are seeing education under attack, they're trying to make the people so dumb, which is a word that I'm not supposed to use in public, but they're trying to water you down in your intelligence. There we go. They're trying to water you down in your intelligence so much that you don't believe in yourself. And in the future, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, in the future, I've said this for years, and Paola knows this. In the future, we're all our little Jetson television shows.
Right.
We're all micro influencers, and either we are influencing people towards something that feels good on a Friday or something that feels low vibrational on a Friday. And we take responsibility for that here in the network on multiple channels, but some people don't. And this is where it's going. The wholesome stuff is going away, like Sesame Street, and the InfoWars and Fox Newses of the world are sprouting up fully funded. And the people who are champions of love and good and hope and peace and all of the light worker type of stuff, the healing practitioners, have to continue to use the free tools. Now, you all will donate to us soon. I see your donations in the quantum field, to get all of our little branding off and things like that, so we can be profesh again. But it's going to be funded, a grassroots funded love going forward because of things like Sesame Street going away. It's both thought bad news for my Mr. Rogers heart. Some people don't see it this way, but I see myself as a very rough around the edges Mr. Rogers. I want to do like a "Won't you be my neighbor," but like a real ass neighbor. Like we're not waving at each other. Like, when was the last time you waved at your neighbor? Precisely.
Hashtag never. Well, that's a lie. I do sometimes wave at them as I'm driving by. Anyway, next slide. Freedom isn't unencumbered existence. To be liberated, we need community, and in community, we're inextricably tethered to each other's well-being. We might have grown up thinking freedom is embodied by the lone cowboy in the Western movie who can go wherever he wants and do whatever he likes. But is that freedom or is that lawlessness? And I loved this for a couple reasons. Because, okay, first reason that I loved it was because it forces people to have an imagination about what freedom actually freaking looks like. Like, we can say the word freedom and ain't nobody knows what the hell we're talking about, because hardly anybody imagines freedom or liberation, right? Like, no one does. And then once they imagine freedom, usually they are thinking like, I can go wherever I want. I can do what I'm happy. Like, I'm the happiest and there's nothing that can touch me and I'm just happy. And I have all the money and I get to go on the boats and the ocean gate and I get to go be with the killer whales and whatever.
Not the ocean gate.
I get to have Shamu, and I get to, I get to do.
You could become Shamu.
There you go. Yes, we could
become. No, you could become food for Shamu.
Well, you could. I heard Shamu. Listen, I think he pulled some people down, but you deserve.
Oh yeah, that's a company. I used to work for them. That's the Bush SeaWorld properties. Y'all cannot be putting these wild animals in close environments and thinking they are going to probably want a cracker for you.
At all. It's weird. And the second reason that I liked this was the need for community and how to be like, by the, first we imagine what freedom looks like, but then we imagine what freedom looks like collectively. And I think that is a lot of times where we all stop. We stop at freedom for us, ourselves, and freedom maybe for the person that's living or people that are living in the house with us. But we're not talking about freedom or liberation the world over. We're simply talking about what's in arm's reach to us, right? And I think this is a challenge of thinking larger, So I loved, no crumbs on that one. I don't know who this person is, but no crumbs.
Well, you and I are running. I'm running. You are being an awesome friend and sister and cheerleader with the pom poms.
I actually have one in my shirt. Here you go.
And why are they placed there? I just cannot.
It's one pom pom. Yeah. Okay. Here you go, y'all. It's
Okay.
it's a dog
Just
with jingle
let
bells
us
and a pom
let us
pom.
be PG-13 then. Let us be PG-13. All I'm going to say is that I have taken to a program called Emotions Anonymous. It's been helping me over the last 3 years, in addition to a kinship with Tara and therapeutic aid and awesome healthcare. It's helped me to find the ground in all of this. And I have too found through Emotions Anonymous and now our Emotions Not Anonymous programming that I need community. And a lot of y'all are out here, and I've been in a situation where I felt like, in order to get it done, people have let me down so much in my life. And I've had such a horrible time with my negative bias, or my negativity bias, pardon me, that I don't believe that I will be supported. I don't believe that people will actually show up. I've not seen it yet. And I'm lacking enthusiasm from the people who are around me. So I don't believe that community is actually going to help me. But I love this. To be liberated, we need community. And in community, we're tethered to each other. That's why I use the mental visualization of when one boat rises, we all rise. Because Tara, in her very hard work and diligence, is helping to keep Love and Action Network online, it's inevitable that when my boat rises and when Love and Action Network boats rise, she's going to. It is guaranteed because y'all see her here producing content with us. Like there's no greater proof in the pudding of us being tethered to each other's well-being than co-presenting. So many of you listening in the podcast realm and also in this realm won't show up on screen with us because you don't really believe that we're tethered to each other. No matter how Tara feels day by day or moves or moved by her moods, vice versa, me being moved by my moods and my feelings toward this work, we show up here in these live streams in this space for 58 weeks, motherfuckers. Because as much as we want to, she's never confided this in me, but I know it's true for her because it's true for me. And also, she's never confided in me, but in our moments of tension, it has risen to the fray. And likewise with me, I'll just go. I don't have anything to contribute. Gone sign. We just celebrated our Gone sign anniversary.
We did. Hey, wait, isn't today the 12/20/2023? The day of not trying to so hard? It is the anniversary. It's the 1-year anniversary, darling, of your night on the stoop.
The night on the stoop where it was like, yo, you're going to spend the rest of your life trying to prove to Praolo and Shanolo that you deserve to exist
You
and to be
deserve
happy.
each other, me and Bach.
Bach. Oh, Bach. Bach, the ultimate pick me. Come on, dude. Love yourself. But anyway,
Community. We need community.
we do need community, and what I'm going to anchor this in before we move to the next slide is that I'm going to speak from the I. I have rudely and profoundly sometimes rejected the community I had, privately and publicly. And let me tell y'all something. Michael Singer came in like a hurricane last week and taught us in our Teachings Love and Action Network that you don't want to be in resistance about what you're living. You want to be in acceptance. And that's tough. Wait, let me
What?
do it one more time. Do it one more time for the close up.
Can't do it. I'm laughing.
Like it's not savory to be like, yo, like, and it's not all bad. Like I'm in a, like, personally from the eye, I'm in one of the most amazing seasons of my life that, depending on how I looked at it, and Tara knows my ledger balance, you know, for full transparency, and for those of you who will listen back to this in the archive, or like the people in my legacy who will be like, yo, who is this guy named Flo, also known as Trey, also known as Andre in the Flow, or whatever. Y'all need to know that, like, this is life happening to us in real time. We are the artists in the time capsule in the sky who are showing up boldly and unapologetically every day to say, like, yo, this is how we fight. This is how we disagree. This is how we blow up. This is how we say fuck you. And still know that on the other side of that loved and lovable fuck you is this inextricably tethered thing that, even if like, there's no way that Tara Praolo and I would have met each other save on this really late night on a social audio app. And there are times in my life where I'm like, when I was in my lowest vibration, and she was going through therapy for me, and I was going through therapy for her, which is what real friends do, by the way, who really love one another. It was kind of like, I would tell my therapist, I was like, I bet she curses the day that she encountered me in the middle of the night on a Clubhouse, because that was the night that we became inextricably, teleprompter, inextricably tethered to each other's well-being. It's kind of like now I care about her until she unalives. And I do feel that Tara cares about me until I unalive. And so it's kind of like once again, just back to the text. To be liberated, we need community. And in community, we're tethered. And as much as we try to, Michael Singer, resist and push away the people we've met on this fucking bingo card of life, the bell has been rung. I'm in Praolo's life forever. Even if she puts another gone sign in the yard and goes away, I will be that guy that wanted her to be fully integrated. And this is the stuff that we talk about in the private, but I will put her on blast because I got a podcast and I can do it, and I'm the boss. This is a Black woman, y'all. And it's also a white woman. And she's in a very unique position of having to deal with all of us motherfuckers because of something that happened in what I think is the 90s.
Yes. Yes.
And
okay, year 1990, because I was born in 91.
So I'm doing this on purpose because it's important, as one of the other hats I wear as like your coach and mentor guy. Y'all let this lady be who she wants to be. Y'all let her wear her hat that I requested, and let her be loved and lovable. Let her champion her Black composers and Black opera singers. She does not deserve, in her silliness, to be alone, but to be supported. And we're in this weird thing where we're still wanting to pull ourselves up by our own bootstraps. But my bootstraps, y'all, are being funded by Priolo. And there's no amount of man posturing or like, yo, I got this, that's going to like separate the fact that if you look at her Cash App, and her bank balance, this is a person who decided in my life to be tethered. And while my bank balance, as I'm donation based and community funded, it's not, it's tethered. Blessed be the fruit.
What a speech. Thank you so much. Did it go to the same video? I can get you the other link.
To diversify a harmful system. That's like saying that people that were in slavery should just have a little bit more diversity amongst the slave owners. We don't want to keep the system. Keeping the system is the reason why the problem exists in the first place. You can add a little bit more of a color range to those people that are whipping folks, but somebody is still being whipped and somebody is still doing the whipping of another person. Having equitable forms of whipping is not going to stop the problem. So adding a little bit more of a variety was never going to be the solution, and including those people in part of the problem was never going to stop the problem. And that is why we have to move on. Let DEI die, guys. Let's move on to what it should have been the whole time. Part of the reason why diversity, equity, and inclusion was never going to work is because you don't need to diversify a harmful system. That's like saying that people that were in slavery should just have a little bit more diversity amongst the slave owners. We don't want to keep the system. Keeping the system is the reason why the problem exists in the first place. You can add a little bit more of a color range to those people that are whipping folks, but somebody is still being whipped and somebody is still doing the whipping of another person. Having equitable forms of whipping is not going to stop the problem. So adding a little bit more of a variety was never going to be the solution, and including those people in part of the problem was never going to stop the problem. And that is why we have to move on. Let DEI die, guys. Let's move on to what it should have been the whole time.
I saw you agreeing.
Listen, y'all, and I didn't bring this slide because I kind of slipped and slid my way into tonight's sharing time. But someone online today on Blue Sky said, "Beat your kids."
Oh, yes.
Y'all going to jail, and I'm going to report you for that shit. Same thing with the whipping trope in this share. We don't want more of the same. We have actually in our network and one to another actually tried this. We've tried to be our mothers to each other. I've tried to be Joyce to her, and I'm not gonna dox your mother to me. And it does not work to perpetuate more of the same violence on a community. It's important that we just venture in our imaginational space, the imaginational, to try something new.
Yeah. I think one thing that Abiola doesn't say here is that what has happened with DEI and the acronym DEI, much like the acronym BIPOC, is that it has become almost a slur for Black. And we could just say Black. It's okay to say Black. I don't think Jimmy Jams is in the audience, but it is okay to say Black. So, I mean, I agree. I agree with the tear down the system. I think many people that know me and are in close community with me know that, like, if you come to me with a reform, I am probably going to tell you to find something else, because I don't see how we can reform a system that was predicated on harm of another group of people. There is no way to take that out of our society. That is the way it was built, whether you believe it was built on patriarchy, or whether you believe it was built on white supremacy, or whether you believe it was built on capitalism, or whether you believe that it was built on colonialism. All of those things depend on the harm of some other type of person, right? And so I agree with the abolition. What I struggle with, and this is a conversation that we've been having in private as well, is like that we have just, I feel, in my experience, gotten to a point in the last, I'm going to say 5 years since George Floyd was murdered, where white people have finally come a little bit to the table. Some white people, not all white people, we all know there are plenty of problematic white folks, have finally come to the table in DEI spaces and like are ready to do the work. And so I think sometimes we see an opportunity, and then because people are flocking to the opportunity, we move the goalpost, and then we just confuse people. So I'm not saying that Abiola is speaking for everyone on the internet or every Black person, but I am saying that this is a similar thing to creating an acronym or creating an imaginational space. And then once we get people in the imaginational space, we say, oh, sorry, just kidding. Now I want you to come to this other imaginational space that's even further outside of your comfort zone. So you probably won't get there. And then we can be mad at you for and judge you and shame you. Not saying that everybody uses these tactics, but this is what it often becomes, that you haven't come to the furthest radical imaginational slot that there possibly can be. Right. And I'm running into this with the conversation about healthcare. It's like, yeah, okay, you want free. And okay, why is free the goalpost? Right? Like, and how do we move that goalpost without ripping out the foundation that was built to get people to believe that healthcare should be free? Right? Because healthcare being free is not going to fix the system. It's just not, it's not going to fix it. It may make it slightly better. It may make it more affordable, but it does not fix the fundamentally wrong things of a system that was built on testing. Never forget it, y'all. Testing on Black and brown bodies, in particular women, and unaliving a slew of people to get our modern medical field, right? So that bias, that prejudice, that oppression will always be present in the system as it stands. And the only thing we've been able to do is get people to the free. But now it's like, how do I get you beyond that? And so this video, to me, like, yes, I get it. And I do think that DEI is not enough. But I think if it's the thing that gets people on board, then we have to work through that to the further radicalization, right? Through to the promised land, right? To the place that we're trying to get people to. And I think this is true. Like, this is a radical take. This Abiola's take is a radical take, because I don't know that you would hear a lot of Black people saying that there's, throw away the whole system. At least I have come across many a marginalized, the intersectional marginalizations. And a lot of them are still like, reform, DEI, representation, right? So yeah, so again, like, I am on the side of abolition. I don't think you can reform a system that's been in effect for over 1,000 years. That is predicated on the harm of other people. But I also think that we have to be careful as a community of radicals to not continue to move the goalposts when people are just barely understanding the first one.
Which is why education is so important.
Yes. Sesame Street.
It's literally why I told Poppy Water this like over a year ago. We're not in the business of serving people in our network elaborate meals and elaborate fusion dishes and things like that. The work that we're doing of telling people that they're loved and lovable and encouraging, equipping, and empowering them is peas and carrots work.
Right.
It is back to the fundamental principles of loving a neighbor as ourselves. Maybe not being in that neighbor's face and in that neighbor's business all the time, but certainly trying to provide the encouragement, equipment, and empowerment to help that neighbor be the best that they can be. And that can happen with any of us. Any of us.
Right. Okay. Last one. No one needs you to start a mutual aid group. I'm really curious on your thoughts on this one. Yes, we need. You can't take it away from me. I got to read it. Yes, we need a mutual aid mindset. Yes, we need to donate to mutual aid, not nonprofits. But there's nothing new for you to do, especially if you're white. Donate to and promote individual mutual aid asks. There are so many. Supporting existing mutual aid orgs if you need something more structured. Look for the people already doing the thing well. They are probably Black, gender marginalized people. Let go of the savior mentality.
Wait. Is this for the people of Pollard? Is this for the people lighter than you? Who is this directed towards?
Well, it says especially if you're white, but this is, and I'm taking it to a different spot because I agree. I agree that we need to instill the mindset of mutual aid prior to creating more mutual aid organizations. It's the same thing in the opera world. I just said this to my teacher this morning. It's like, do you create another opera company, or do you just go, like, do you just push on opera companies to change and demonstrate different repertoire to them?
As you know, that's at the level of the frustration you want to engage. You're going to be like, if you start your own opera company, that's a certain steep hill. If you go and try to dismantle what massa is doing inside
Right.
of opera, then that's also a steep hill. Like, pick your suffering,
Right.
the Buddha would say.
So, I mean, like, this whole idea of, like, do we need more companies, nonprofits, groups, organizations, or do we just need to help pull people into the ones that are already established? That's really what it comes down to, and I'm curious. I mean, I think I know your answer. I think I can surmise your answer.
I mean, listen. I was already tuned out when this lovely, loved, and lovable human said, "No one needs you to start a mutual aid group." That's absolutely nonsense because there's not a person, yourself and myself included, and not a human on earth that does not need some level of aid. We all need someone to love more on us and to care more about what we're going through. So I didn't understand what I think this person is pointing to is their disdain and my disdain for the nonprofit industrial complex. There's a space where there's a lot of performance of help and aid, but it's happening in a way that's more of the same of what we've always seen. If you're helping someone because it's part of your corporate responsibility or to look good, then I would question your motives. But if you actually want people to do well on the planet, to be happy, healthy, and free from suffering like you are, that's a whole different structure for how you're, moving in your life. And I'm with them at the bottom. This post gives me very like a broken clock can be right twice a day.
This is and it's one of those things where there's lateral violence happening inside of the post, like it's definitely like I saw that term. Shout out to Myrtle Lemon Todd, I love you so much, thank you for your terms inside, and thank you for your work inside of NNFCS, otherwise known as the Litter Box, a hot mess express, if I've ever seen one in the classical music world. But they in the comment section where they were talking about vertical violence, but this is like directly lateral violence. It like no one needs to start a mutual aid.
Wait. We're in Deconstruction Junction, which means that for those of you who don't know us, I'm Dr. Flo. I listen to people with master's degrees. I wrote my ex-husband's master's degree, but I don't have one yet.
Yes.
I've just stolen Praolos. Can you just take us through a 30-second to 1 minute deconstruction on lateral versus
vertical? Yeah. So lateral to me, and I haven't done a lot of research on this, but lateral to me means that you're like literally laterally, you're on the same level, right? This is probably a person that has a mutual aid org and is coming for other mutual aid organizations in this post, or people that want to start them. That's kind of that question. Monopoly, capitalism, that's what that says to me. But so lateral would be this way. Obviously, y'all know vertical means this way. So vertical violence is when like you're upset with the people that are above you, quote unquote, in the company, but you take it out on the people that are quote unquote lower than you, or you create a situation where there are people lower than you. So for instance, in this situation that Myrtle was commenting on, the person was like, the higher ups aren't even paying the singers as well as they're paying the instrumentalists. And this person was like, the singers work just as hard as the instrumentalists, da 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 da. And technically they're working for us. And that's vertical violence. So that is an example of vertical violence. And like I said, this particular quote is lateral violence, in my opinion, because it is like that opening statement, while it's a nice hook and it's gotten us talking about it, it is essentially hurting people's creativity, hurting people's imagination. And this is what I think, you know, not to be a newbie to the social justice space that I'm not a newbie to, because I was born biracial. So therefore I was here 33 years ago, almost 34 years ago. I think that we a lot of times do more damage than good, because we are crap, as AMB criticizes in her book, Emergent Strategy, that we are very often creating situations of lateral violence just like this, where we are just quote unquote reinventing or reorganizing or reforming systems that are already in place that can be damaging. And yeah, let go of that savior mentality. And I think you see where a lot of my questioning this week. I mean, this has been a question about the opera company for a while, but you know, or do I pay another human or help get the funds for another human to produce the albums, or do I produce them myself? Do I get the funds for another person to start an opera company, or do I take them myself? And what part of that is savior mentality? Because that is a thing. That is a thing, right? And they're not explicitly saying in this post like white savior. They're saying savior mentality. And I think that's very, very careful. You know, I like it's.
I'm gonna be very clear on this. I feel very Kamala. I'm gonna be very clear, and I got my Kamala juice going tonight too. If y'all know, I got my malarkey Kamala juice. I don't care if you're white, black, red, brown, fuchsia, purple, green, cripple or crazy.
I want to be fuchsia.
All right.
Okay.
Your love is my love, baby. If you're fuchsia, if you like it, I love it. I want you happy. What I and I say this to you privately and also publicly all the time. It's kind of like if saving someone and lifting someone up, if if lifting someone up makes you feel good, then lift them up. If you feel for a moment though that you got like a savior mentality, meaning that you have an unhealthy relationship with how you're lifting them up, that's for your therapist and for your spiritual practice to figure out how you can lift people up without feeling like you need to save them. So I am with this post on that. But this post was crazy because it had a lot going on. But yes, you white people need to start mutual aid groups because you out earn everybody else. And if you're not going to start giving 10% or 20% of your income to someone who's less fortunate, you're a taker and a greedy bastard like the incoming commander in chief. I will not mince words about this. If white people truly give a damn about black and brown people, you will give a portion of your income the way that Tara does into black and brown organizations with receipts. Put up or fucking shut up. Now it's on to my shares about this Luigi Mangione, Mangia la Pizza. This is art imitating life and life imitating art. If you're following this story of Mangia la Pizza, which means in Italian, eat the pizza, Luigi Mangione, you will know that he is having a moment like a raisin in the sun. He's having a moment in time. Is that the cue?
No, I'm singing a moment like this. Some people wait a lifetime for that one special walk.
A helicopter landed. I mean, look, helicopter treatment. I mean, you're getting chauffeur. Do y'all not see this concierge?
Oh, I can't believe it's happening to me.
Some people wait a
A
lifetime.
for a moment like this. It is so beautiful.
I mean, it's poetic. And Tara hit me up today and she's like, what movie is this from? Because it looks like a movie. I want y'all to know that in order to make to make a difference in the world, you don't need to unalive a CEO of a healthcare company. To feel alive and to feel vindicated and to feel justified in the world, in this planet, in this galaxy, you don't need all of this. The way that he is responding to these, the way that all this is going down is wild to me, because this is how a millionaire had to get famous, or how he felt he needed to get famous, or inevitably how he is becoming famous. And I think it's nuts. I think it's nuts. And the way you all are lusting after him, and the way you all are centering him, and the way the law enforcement is handling him, it's all just a public display and commentary on what we elevate in our society. Poppy Water tonight was very, very clear in our kitchen space, which is the private black queer space, by the way. Thank you for coming into our space.
Blick.
There are black men in jail for offenses that they did not commit.
That part. And have been put to unalivement.
We've seen it in the last 6 months.
That part. July.
So to have this Italian man paraded around, and to have, we know what the propaganda machine does, because if we were to superimpose, which is a technical term for you smart people, and I don't know what my husband's doing in this house. It's like all of a sudden he decided to like clean or some shit
Oh Lord.
and sweep and tidy.
Oh Lord.
But if this is superimposed with a black man,
Blick.
blick, never say black.
Never said
Um,
Blick.
what would that look like for us? But we don't live in that world. We live in a world that centers this. Are you following the Luigi Mangione story? And does it intrigue you in any way?
I
Have you
have
seen
to
this
say,
before?
I have to say that after the initial like pew pew, I was kind of like, okay, I don't think that's the way we're going to handle our problems. It is the way I feel about like and this is a topic I didn't bring because the video got deleted. But like it is how I feel about cancel culture or this like obsession with dogpiling on specific creators that happens on TikTok. Is very specific to TikTok. Like you'll see like 200 videos about the same goddamn thing. Or the same person, and it's like I got it. Like I understood it after the first two. So I kind of stopped following it because I just disagree with the method. Like I don't think that, and this is going to be a little, I don't think it's wholly true. So y'all just stay with me. I don't think that using the master's tools are going to get us anywhere. And I say that very carefully because I do think that there's a place for violence. I do think that there's a place for utilizing some of those tools and climbing the ladder and getting power and utilizing, and then like taking that power and manipulating it into a different type of power. I do believe in that. However, I don't believe in pew-pewing a CEO just because he's a rich man that did something to your family. Like, how does that actually do anything for the greater good? In the same way that people yelling about Madeline Pendleton online right now, how does that help the greater good? If we're all enroped in this discussion about freeing Madeline Pendleton, who's a nobody on the internet.
Wait, but is she locked up, or are we just freeing this white lady from the online jail? She ain't in jail. She's not Luigi.
She ain't in real jail. So no, I haven't been following the story. But I have seen some of the pictures, and I have seen like I've seen listen. Me and Dr. Flo, we are unserious, serious people. The people on the internet talking about this, black people to be specific, they are so unserious, child. They are unserious. And the stuff that I have seen, I cackle, right? The ex Tina, okay, she done that video. I'm still laughing about it. I had to watch it about 5 times to actually listen to the serious parts that she was talking about because it was so hysterical to me. But yeah, I mean, where was this brigade when they were bringing in the January 6th white folks? Where was this brigade when Trump was in court and convicted as a felon? Over 34 counts, in case anybody forgot.
Over 34 counts.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and also,
Yeah,
also, if this was a black man, let's be real. If this was a black man with the NYPD and he had been arrested at a McDonald's, it wouldn't have been an arrest because we saw a black man less than a month after George Floyd be murdered at a Wendy's. So until y'all want to talk about that.
Okay, well, Mangia La Pizza, Luigi, I hope that you make millions of dollars for the news entities and the government entities that are, each one of these guys that you're seeing around Luigi makes over 6 figures a year. They don't care about folks like you and me. Someone, I don't have the photo, but the pilot of the helicopter got out and like walked him in. Like,
Oh
what
my
are
God.
you doing in it? Very interesting kind of stuff. Speaking of ridiculousness under the ruling class, I wanted to show this in this video. You guys are going to see. It's going to say they can't even spell Mozart. They didn't deserve this performance. These are some guys that are kind of standing over a black guy in a public space, playing his piano. And anyway, if I can get this to do what I needed to do, here we go.
Mozart's 14th Symphony in F G minor major.
Yep.
Can you sing Mozart's 14th Symphony in F G minor major?
Yep.
So yeah, listen, y'all accuse me of being a blacist and all of these other things because I say I just say the things, I'm with Paolo. I say the uncomfortable ish, These guys are in an airport trying to make fun of this young black kid saying play Mozart in whatever key, and he cleared them and giving them what they wanted and what they were making fun of, that they could not do. And there's a thing that you straight guys do, or you machismo, or you big men do. There's a body language where the white guy, the lighter guy, the lighter human, was visibly shaken that he was making fun of this guy. And if y'all want to remove the race from it, a human was making fun of another human for sitting at a piano and being talented. Instead of praising this other human, remove the race for you people who want to claim that I'm racist and all this other bullshit that I'm not. I love humans that love me. But they were not being loving towards this black man and being really rude. And he was black excellence. And I loved witnessing him be himself in the face of people who were visibly multiple times. If you watch this video with or without me, you'll see that they are surprised and shaken that they could not see the fullness and the wholeness of who he was, but he was that. And
Right.
we are that. And you cannot allow people standing around making fun of you to determine how great your Mozart truly is.
How great thou art. I don't know how that song actually goes. I forgot. But anyway.
You're gonna learn it. You're gonna learn in the next 25 years with me.
It's a buried memory. Do you know when I had to learn that song? Have I ever told you this? It was my college audition song. They made us sing it for college because I went to a freaking Lutheran college. Disgusting. Anyway, continue.
It's a bop, though. It's a bop.
It's a
Then
bop.
sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee.
Right.
How great thou art. And you know, one thing Oprah talks about, and one thing I talk about, and one thing that Paola talks about is the power of being underestimated. What I loved about this is that they underestimated him, and he was greater than their estimation. And a lot of you listening back to this podcast or watching it over on Substack, people are actually counting you out. They're counting me out too. I've accomplished great things, and so has Paolo. But they're counting us out. They think that we have gone away into the shadows and that we are just going to no longer speak up about the things that are important to us and put our art out into the world for as long as we're here just for today. Y'all got us fucked up if you think that your high school shenanigans of laughing in the back of the classroom with your spitballs, that's how old I am. I'm old enough to where people weren't tweeting things through threads on the internet or tweeting things. Like, I'm a spitball kind of old, where someone had to put a actual piece of wadded up paper in a straw and hit you in the back of your head with it. If y'all think that this new evolved way of trying to talk people out of their greatness is going to work, you don't know us. You also don't know.
You don't know me by now. You ain't never, never, never gonna know me. No, you won't.
If you don't know me, you won't. Also, shout out to Coleman Domingo this week, who was in an interview with this random white guy I do not know.
He is so listen. He is the reason that I watched Fear of the Walking Dead. Okay, listen.
I'd never heard of him, but I like that he's I like that he's 54, which means that he's 14 years in my future. You know, this, like, Black people need to see their futures. They need to see it. For you, Black woman, look at Angela Bassett.
She's gorgeous, child.
And super talented, unapologetic, outspoken. A lot of our role models, you know, and some, like, you know, I'm 40 years old. Like, you know, people like, you got a role model? People think that role models are for kids. No, this 50-year-old, 54-year-old Black man award winner who's like, yo, I'm just being myself. You know, I'm Black. And that's what makes me beautiful and stand out. And that's what makes me not crack. I think it's beautiful. What say you about being Black and not cracking?
Listen, I did this thing on Instagram the other day. It was one of those stupid, like, show yourself in 2019 and then show yourself today. And I captioned it, biracial don't crack neither. Babies. I look the same, minus the hair, as I did when I would, y'all, some of y'all, if you're my personal friend on Facebook, y'all go in my profile pictures. And if you scroll back far enough, you're going to find a picture where I have a coffee filter on my head. You done tell me that don't still look exactly how I look today. Exactly. Listen, and my daddy, child, he's 74. 74. You would not know. Black don't crack.
You won't know. I feel like in exchange for the hardship of being pestered by people who have a mental illness about the way that we appear in society, I think that the great source of all wisdom, or the universe, granted us just
Well, I think that the youth the youth going longer is also repayment for the adultification of Black kids, right? I mean that's a conversation that what's her name, was having about Blue Ivy, right? Um, and how we adultify Black children, really quite horribly, and it's the reason why 13-year-olds are murdered by police. Black 13-year-olds are murdered by police. Black 12-year-olds are murdered by police. Trayvon Martin, anybody? Um,
Changed my life.
like let's be for real about why those kids were perceived to be adults. Why the
And
why
dangerous.
why did Elijah McCain, you know, he's a kid,
Not mine. Not mine.
not yours.
It is
Yeah.
crazy. Let me go to this. Um, someone today on Blue, someone was talking about a controversial thought, and this person, female anatomy enthusiast, which is like a troll on the internet, but a human who is powering this, said, "Beat your kids." Um, I just want to stop here tonight. This is one of our longest episodes ever, Paola. We're heading to an hour and a half, but we're
Never.
good.
We're
We're good.
moving. We're moving.
You're going on vacation tomorrow to have
Right.
baby's first Christmas, and so we had to go out with a bang.
Right.
But a lot of y'all have come from this, and I've come from this, where my ass was beat as a child for being myself and to try to course correct my behavior and my existence. And someone wanting to be cute and posting a controversial thought into Black Sky said that a great idea would be to beat your kids. Beat your
Mm-mm.
kids.
Mm-mm.
And they
Mm-mm.
hashtag Black Sky because they wanted to be included in this Fediverse conversation that I'm included in and Tara's included in on Black Sky, on Blue Sky, which is a open system. I want y'all to know my response here. My response was, if ever I see it, it being
You had a lot of typos today, but it's okay. There was another.
I don't know,
Also, there was one that I saw that I had collaborated on, and it was morning, but it was it was MORNGING.
my partner came home early today, and so the holidays got started very early. I apologize, folks, but I'm telling y'all, if I see y'all beating your kids, you're going to jail.
You're
Okay,
going to
and,
jail.
and I know that there's a lot of cultural because white people don't beat their kids and Black people like to beat their kids. This clearly was a person who was talking
White
about
people done beat their kids, child. They
say it
do.
again.
They do. White people,
all all of this you're the representative here of this. I don't know nothing about white people's life.
they don't beat their kids, child.
If I see it, y'all, and y'all are you abusers, like my father, may he rest in power and peace, elevated ancestor. If I see y'all touching these babies in anger, you are going to jail. Now I know this was like a random post on the internet, but I want y'all to know, some of you adults out here get your rocks off by making the little people feel smaller than you. A lot of you get your rocks off by trying to feel better than the little people in your life. My father did this. And I want you to know, to your faces on this podcast tonight, that if I see you touching these babies or harming these babies in any way, you are going to jail. Bare minimum, I'm going to call CPS and turn in your address. Fuck around and find out. My father, who's dead now, was a person who threatened me around calling CPS because he wanted to intimidate me. Nothing that he wanted to teach me, you guys, needed to happen with him putting his hands on me in anger. You're creating violent children. You're teaching people how to put their hands on other people in anger because you've done it to them. And I know the reasons why you're doing it. You're doing it because it happened to you. Now, maybe it didn't happen to you listening on the podcast or watching the show. Maybe no one beat your ass as a child to try to just make you be a decent human. But this shit comes from like chattel slavery and comes from the plantation. It comes from evil, non-melanated, light bright people who wanted to put us in our place and hang us from trees and things to make us behave. And then we get this white man's Bible, this white Jesus's Bible that says crazy things like spare the rod, spoil the child, to justify the harming of the kids. Now, y'all gonna say to me, oh, Dr. Flo, you never had no kids, you never raised no kids, but you don't know how frustrating it can be. Like my father, if you cannot raise your children without physically harming them, you have a problem. If you cannot communicate what you want to communicate to another human, and I'm a horrible example, hypocrite that I am, but I'm raising my voice right now, but it's for passion and getting my point across. But once again, y'all not kids. This programming here is for 18 plus. I'm talking about the babies that y'all are raising your voices to and striking in anger. Things like my father, I can show you better than I can tell you. You know, like stop beating your children because it happened to you. You are fucked up. I am fucked up because the people who claim to love me handled me in anger, resentment, and rejection. I would not allow my partner in this house with me to put his hands on me with anger. I had no choice with my father. And some of y'all are talking crazy to your kids and putting your hands on your kids. And like my father never harmed me or abused me in public. He did it in private under this black folk thing of not letting people know. White people do this too. Don't let anybody know what's happening within the four walls of our house. You're protecting abusers. I'm grateful, as I've said on my social media, for the internet, because no one's no longer, that's probably a double negative, and I have education. No one is any longer, hate a fucking typo. No one's any longer going to be able to abuse me as my father did in the 80s and beat my ass in seclusion or in isolation. You're not going to mistreat me without a camera in your fucking nose, because y'all are wrong for this. You can raise good people and you can put great children into the world without beating them. And then y'all wonder why Luigi is fucking shooting people at point blank range in the street. It's all connected to me. But if you do this shit in front of me, I'm calling CPS bare minimum. And if you continue to do this shit as y'all do this and let it slip that you do this, your asses are going to jail. My father should have gone to jail. May he rest in power. He's in the ultimate jail now, Tara. But y'all gotta knock this shit off. Do you want to touch this slide before I go to the next one or not, Praolo?
I agree. I don't know why you would post something like that to attempt to be funny. That's all. That's the wrap up.
They think it's funny. That people think,
cute.
people think that violence or a casual violence. I don't even let people be like violent towards other people in their stories around me. Like,
Yeah.
if you're around me and you're starting to get like violent in your speech or your hypothetical, like I'll go out, like let that person fuck around with me, I'll beat their ass. I'm like, yo, you're in a whole fucking universe that's unnecessary because I'm trying to have Raisin Bran.
Right.
Why are y'all trying to beat children and beat other people? Y'all are violent and addicted to like a hypnotic rhythm of violence, and I'm not with it.
Right.
Because eventually, those children that y'all beat are going to spill over into society as a Luigi Mangione. And y'all going to think it's cute, but it's not.
It's not.
Let me move on. Walk like you have 3,000 ancestors walking behind you. White people, too. We've all survived generationally amazing things, sinister things. Tara tonight talked about being the byproduct of a biracial union. That's immediate. My father beating my ass as a child. That's immediate. But up in our lineage, especially as Black people, are people coming over here stacked by the hundreds on boats in piss and feces, dying and jumping overboard. We are the strongest of our lineage. We must never forget that shit. And I do forget it. I forget that my people were either here and overtaken by colonialism and white supremacist Delulu, or they were somewhere far away and were brought here to labor and build everything. Y'all are never going to casually disrespect me because my ancestors built everything in this ashy motherfucker. I've been very clear about this. We built everything. Your ancestors hung from the titties of mine and Tara's in Mississippi. So we're going to build this stuff together in community and love one another. Hello, Kamala. Coming back. We're going to love one another and all of that. We're going to be very, very clear about what the truth is. Okay? Okay, Joe. We did it, Joe, but we didn't do it.
Joe. We did, Joe.
We did it, but we didn't do it, Joe. We did it, but we didn't do it because we weren't real enough to talk about the fact that these people who want to casually disrespect us were sucking on the titties of our grandparents, parents for nourishment as we built everything, and then they want to treat us as if we're not smart enough or intelligent enough to exist and be part of the conversation. Sit your stupid ass down. I'm not doing another 4 years with y'all pretending like the delusion is real when we have 3,000 ancestors walking behind us. Y'all gonna stop treating Praolo like she's not a credible white woman and Black woman. It's personal for me. She got 6,000 ancestors, 3,000 white ladies, which is its own special situation, and 3,000 Black people who knows the strength of who she is. And she's out here in our work trying to pander to you people when all she wants to be is happy, healthy, and free like the rest. And she's backed. And Maya Angelou taught us when you walk into an audition space or into a meeting or into your bright future, take these 6,000 with you. Everything else is a lie. We're about to go through a rough 4 years because of what's not situational, but imaginational. Imagine your ancestors backing you. What say you about your 6,000 Prowler before we move forward and land this?
There was approximately 3 songs that were going through my head. I have forgotten one, but one of the songs was it's the scene in Identity Thief and it's not, the song exists outside of there, but she's like jamming to the radio, and she's got like the big curly hair, and she's going, and I would walk 500 miles a night. That's going through my head. And also climb every mountain. And if y'all have not seen Cynthia Erivo sing that,
I've
like,
not. The version that I know is another Black Girl Magic who I want to meet, but I don't know what I would really say to her. Another person who's produced Multi-Passionate Biracials and is Audra.
Audra,
Audra's Climb Every Mountain in the live version of that musical.
I love Audra. Yeah. Yes, I will send you the Cynthia Erivo because she did it as a tribute to Julie Andrews. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful, and like Julie is like crying. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yes, walk like you have 3,000 ancestors behind you. Whatever it takes, y'all, to be confident and courageous. And I don't think your 3,000 ancestors would be tearing yourself down like your voice in your head tears you down sometimes. So maybe give a listen to them. That's all.
Yeah, the people at the bottom of those boats had all of the feelings that we have, but deeper concerns.
Right.
Like deeper concerns. You and I are 900 miles apart, producing over a year of encouraging content for people.
Right.
We have challenges, but we stand on the shoulders of people who are really challenged. Let's talk a bit about our announcements, y'all. This was like one of the longest episodes we've ever done. But Tara
Y'all go
had
watch Madison, okay? And then tell me that our episode is long.
Tara had a child pulled out of her lower abdomen earlier in the year, and that particular spawn of love is having their first Christmas with grandparents, and Tara's experiencing her first year as a mom. And for all of you breeders out there, y'all will know I'm not one, but for all of you breeders, you will know that this is something that can only happen one time. I watched Tara earlier in the week, y'all, tear up because the baby is no longer a week old or 2 weeks old. I teared up a little bit too because as the baby grows, I'm also growing.
Wait until I send you the picture that Ross just took of the baby. I'm not gonna spoil it for you, and then I have a video for you later of the baby.
One moment the baby is like literally like microscopic, like in mommy's lap, and then now the baby's out in snow in Eddie Bauer, no less. And so, I mean, y'all just keep living because time is moving forward, and you know, it's wild. But Tara's going on vacation a bit. She'll be in network, but kind of loosely in network for the next 5 days. And so let's do some announcements to get these people out of here.
So small. Adopt a Black artist. Y'all, we featured our third Black artist today. That was Christopher Singleton, who is Mr. Sings. And he does piano stuff, which I just recapped this in my Spill the Beans that'll go up on Monday. So Adopt a Black artist. It's Fridays on our platforms. There is a nomination form in each of our bios. So lovedandlovable.bio.link, lovedandlovable.bio.link, or tarapriolo.com/links. There's a link there to nominate someone or to nominate yourself. There's also the ability to download our slides and put them up on your own pages, because part of the mission of this is that we are sharing our platforms from, we are tethered. To go back to the very beginning, y'all, I'll take you back. We are inextricably tethered to each other, and we might as well show it instead of being so selfish about a platform that we don't even own. Let's be 100% real about it. We do not own Instagram. We do not own TikTok. We do not own Facebook. We don't own these platforms. So why can't you share another person that needs something? And maybe you need something. And so you can start your own. Maybe you're Filipino and you want to feature Filipino artists. Maybe you're white and you want to feature some white artists. Maybe you're Irish and you want to feature some Irish people. Right? Maybe you're French. Like, this is so easy. You can do it. And we can help you lift it if that is what you so choose. But we would really appreciate if you don't have funds and if the person is asking for monetary, like for donations, then consider doing things like liking, sharing, commenting, saving and nominating an artist and promoting on your own platform. So you don't have to pay, but payment is great. And all gifts are of any size are appreciated. But if you cannot do that, there are plenty of other things that you can be doing, i.e., paying more attention on the internet than most of you all ever pay.
They pay attention. It's just so saturated. We're all bombarded, and like sometimes we pay attention, sometimes we're not. Like it's humaning is just some crazy shit right now. So y'all, if you're hearing us out in the great beyond, ET phone home. I'm hiring now for people or hiring people who want to be part of something that's bigger than themselves. If you're out there and you're wanting to be part of a larger network of mutual support, I'm going to be running my love revivals and love tour and doing independent art. Y'all going to watch me on TikTok and YouTube and beyond. Be great in this life. But if you want to be part of that journey, I've got lots of opportunities to support it, to make money here, and to just grow something for the next 25 years. So if you're interested in that, tap in. Also, if you are interested in using your voice in the world as a performer, or perhaps doing the kinds of things that we do on YouTube and TikTok, including the scrollers and the production, we do free masterclasses every day on TikTok, YouTube, and beyond. If you're interested in coaching with Tara or myself, just send us a DM and live chat us at lovedandlovable.bio.link. Tara is going to be going into collegiate spaces and higher institutional learning spaces and introducing Black composers and Black spirituals and, this idea that Black people can coexist in academia. That's how she's going to be teaching people how to use their voice in those spaces. And of course, I'll be doing it over in my territory. Yeah. What is the biggest thing, Tara, that you want people to lift or speak in these times? I know you and I are doing individual and also collective work around the capital V voice, meaning like the voice in your head and the voice in your heart and the voice that's coming out of your little thumbnail size vocal mechanic called uh you know the folds. Uh, what do you believe in the thread of this previous tab about using your voice? What do you think is the most important? I'm going to throw you a curveball. What
Okay.
is the most important tool that someone could utilize right now in lifting their voice? And also, what is the importance right now of people like us speaking up and speaking out?
So first I'm going to say that y'all can do the smallest thing and that's enough. Like, I think it's really important that you're at least lifting your voice to one person in your community. And we say all the time, where 2 or 3 are gathered, right? Where 2 or 3 are gathered, it's a party. Where 2 or 3 are gathered, it's a community. And so I just really I think, and I talked about this in Spill the Beans a week ago, I think, which was people call me brave, but that's not it. You are projecting something on me that you believe that I have that you don't have. And that's just not true. And you're using that as a reason to not lift your own voice, mistakes and all. Mistakes and all, y'all, because yes, you may get called out, you may get called in, you may get nasty people in your comment section, you may get people calling you gross, you may get people doxing you on the internet, like has happened to Dr. Flo. You like these things may happen to you, and doing the smallest part of it isn't going to hurt you. It's truly the only way that you learn to speak up is by speaking up. That's it. There is no other way. You can think in your head all day long, but you still haven't practiced that. It's like performing, right? You can pretend that you're performing in lessons, but you haven't actually performed until you perform. And it feels completely different. That's why I don't believe in teachers who say pretend you're in a performance. If I've never been in a performance, or I've never been in this specific performance situation, I can't be in that. Or pretend you're in an audition. I've been in auditions before, and still every single audition feels different, right? It just is. So I encourage you to take the small step. And that is Stacey Abrams from her podcast. She never leaves people without something they can tangibly do. So if your tangible thing is to follow the link that I shared yesterday into my stories for Myrtle, right? Because there is a bill headed through Congress that I don't know if it's passed or if it's just headed through Congress. But you can call. You don't even need to make a call a lot of times, right? You can, and it will auto call, do the smallest thing that is tangibly within your reach. And then the other thing that I'll leave people with regarding the capital B voice is never forget that the people that you idolize, because I know there are people that idolize me, and I know there are people that idolize Dr. Flo. And how do I know that? Because I have been in your position, and I have idolized people like me and Dr. Flo. We go through it too. We are not always, we do not always know exactly what to say. We do not always have everything planned out. We do not always, sometimes we step in it, child. Sometimes we step in it. Sometimes we step in it because of our nasty stinking thinking. And sometimes we step in it because we blurt something out and it was a bad take. It was a bad take. And that's okay. Your idols will have flaws, and because your idols have flaws, you too can have flaws and still continue. That's all.
Because we all have flaws, we can continue. I thank y'all for watching. Go to lovedandlovable.bio.link, lovedandlovable.bio.link, lovedandlovable.bio.link. It's been scrolling the whole time we've been here for one of the longest, maybe record-breaking episodes, an hour and 47 minutes and 24 seconds of a Deconstruction Junction. Tara's going on vacation. Y'all are stuck with me for the next 5 days as Father Water in here. I'm going to help y'all move through your emotions and everything of the holidays over the next 5 days. It is such a thrill to be on the planet with all of you all. I know that life is bullshit sometimes, but at least we have each other. And at least we were able to encourage, equip, and empower one another. We are responsible for our time. We are responsible for our talents. We're responsible for our treasure. And we're trying to, just for today, have fun with one another and also make a difference on the planet. We're committed through this product called Deconstruction Junction to saying the shit that everybody else is saying quietly. Because the goal is liberation for Tara, for me, and for everybody in our network. And so on behalf of everyone in Love and Action Network, and those of you standing outside, but always for free 99 and welcome inside, welcomed. Is that a word? Can people be welcomed inside?
I don't think that's a word, but it can be now, like imaginational.
All right. We welcome you into our imaginational space of Love and Action Network. And until we meet again, I think the next Deconstruction Junction is going to be probably Saturday.
Yes, Saturday, December 28th. We will see you at normal time, which is 1:30 p.m. Eastern, 12:30 p.m. Central Time. And stay tuned because Dr. Flo, you are now in Dr. Flo's very capable hands for the next 5 days, whilst I gallivant through my Christmas adventures. You are on mute. Or we lost the mic.
We lost the microphone. We lost mic 1, mic 2. It's gonna be the same. It's gonna be the same. It's been a long episode. Polly wants a cracker. Polly wants a cracker. You're loved and lovable. You're loved and lovable. You're loved and lovable. Loved and lovable. I'm always gonna be saying, stay in your power, stay in your joy, stay loved and lovable. And on behalf of Poppy Water 33, Tara Paolo Studio, and myself, Andre and the Flow, I wish y'all a wonderful holiday weekend. And we will see you on TikTok, YouTube, and beyond, and our network. Take care, everybody.